All right, hi there. What's up, my people? Good to have you here. Good to see you. I'm sure you're glad to see me as well. So let's interact. I hope you're having a good day so far. Hope everything is going well with you. All right. I pray that you are really doing well. Above all, that you have health. Health is probably the biggest thing. Health is capital. Health is capital for business. Sometimes we go through life trying to find capital for business. I've had several encounters or come across a lot of people who are looking for capital to start business, and it's frustrating because they can't get a loan or somehow can't have access to these financial resources. But I want you to know now that even health itself is capital. It's capital for anything. It's capital for business, capital to start a family and things like that. Do just many other things. It's actually greater, more potent capital than financial resources. But anyway, I don't know why I went into that. I was just wishing you a good day, wishing that you're having a really good day. But today I want to talk a little bit about relationships, marriage, dating, romance, and things like that. So I know that you are aware of this, but for some time now we hear complaints from women, that men change. And when you try and dig into people's lives, I do marriage counseling. So when you find out issues that are going on, oftentimes women will say that men change, so when things just go sour, the romance just disappears, women most often say men change. I don't know what men say, actually, to be honest, come to think of it. I don't know what men say. Men don't really say anything, I guess. For them, it has happened and that's it. But anyway, so relationships go through trying times. There's no relationship that's an exception to the rule. It's the same thing that happens in business, in education, in career, in everything. We go through these hard times. But what I want to say is, as much as it's common for women to say that men change, I want to kind of give an understanding why that may happen. I'm not going to deny that it doesn't happen. Yes, it happens. Men change. The simple reason that men change is because women change. And the simple reason that women change is because kids change. And the simple reason that kids change is because everything changes. So everything in life changes. Everyone changes. So women have to get over this thing of using the change in men as a reason why things go sour. It takes two to tango. Now, I've grown up a female chauvinist. That means that I've always been on the side of women. I've always sided with women. When I hear about wrangles and family issues, relationship issues, I've always been one to immediately jump on the defense of women. Always. And a lot of my friends have known me for that. But lately, not that I'm having a change of heart, but I'm seeing that it's not really the men that are a problem. In the day that we're in the times that we're in, the problems are more with the women. Now, like I said, I do marriage counseling. So at least in the last 5 encounters I've had with marriage counseling, the problem was the man. 4 out of those 5 cases, the problem was the man. One of them, it was the woman. Now, I do marriage counseling. And the last 5 cases that I've tried to help, 5 of those cases, 4 out of the 5, the problem was the women. Only one of those 5 cases was, had an issue of the man being the problem. So I'm aware of this power imbalance, if you like. But the thing that I want to bring out the most here is that men are going to change. Everything in life changes. Everything in life changes. And so, as women, this is to simply help. We have to prepare for change. The only constant thing in life is change. Relationships change. You as a woman change. Kids change. Remember when you had those kids and they were 2 months old or 5 months old, they couldn't wait for you to walk through the door when you went out for work or went out to do groceries or whatever it is. You disappeared for a moment, or you even went to the shower. I mean, this baby would be at the door, looking at that door, wanting that door to open. As soon as it opens, Mama! They jump on you. But fast forward 1 year, 2 years, or even 3 years, now they are more concerned about their phones or TV. You can walk through the door and say, "Hi, babies," and they don't even say anything. They're just looking at the TV. Things have changed. Things have changed. You as a woman changes. When you were 16, you walked a lot faster than you walk now at the age of 40. Everything changes. Men change as well. So we have to understand that with all of these changes, it's going to affect men a certain way. It's going to cause a shift in their attitude. It's going to change a shift in their approaches. It's going to shift a lot of things. All right? And I think that a lack of understanding of what these changes are all about is really what is lacking when women complain that we're having problems now and it's not romantic anymore because the man has changed, because men change. Yes, men change, but I think that we need to learn to adapt to these changes. Men change just like everybody else does change. We had black hair, now we have gray hair. We've changed. We were 60 pounds, now we're 200 pounds. Things change. The clothes that we wore 5 years ago, we may not fit in them. So life is change. Life is change. And so I find that one of the things that I think that creates a problem is the failure on most people's parts, whether it's men or women, to budget for change, to anticipate change. I think that a lot of people get into relationships stuck in what's happening in the moment. And so when things start to change, they feel betrayed by the change. And so those ill feelings is what they express towards their spouses, be it a man or a woman. And then we create confusion and make things even worse. Relationships need to learn to adapt. Now, of course, even when we shift over and talk a little bit about, just making a slight shift and talk about chivalry, how men treat women. You know, there's a complaint again generally about what happened to that. Men don't know how to treat women anymore. And I don't think that this is mostly attributed to the change that men go through, the normal changes of growing up or just, changing preferences and things like that. But that also has been affected by the fact that gender roles have been shifting around. Okay? Men in our time, for the last 10 years, maybe 20 years, want the same things that men have. They want the same opportunities. They want equal rights. We've been dealing with feminism, dealing with the Me Too movement and just all kinds of things, dealing with lesbianism, homosexuality, all manner of different things. And all of those things have complicated relationships. So much that now chivalry isn't there anymore. And you can't really blame the men entirely, because I think at the end of the day, men are also confused because women are demanding this and that and this and that. And so now nobody really knows how to address women anymore, or how to approach them, or what to say, or how to handle things. People aren't sure anymore. And that's showing in how relationships are now going around. People are just not sure anymore, because there's so many changes that have happened. And so this is part of the reason why chivalry has gone through the window. Because these demands for change are just throwing things off the hook, off the wheel, off the rails, if you like. So these are the things that we now need to take into consideration. When you think about counseling now, they are embracing all of these ideas that have come about with all the demands that women have been putting across, and men and people who want same-sex relationships, women also who want same-sex relationships, and just all manner of complexities, sexual preferences and things like that. All of these things are just messing up relationships, that nobody knows how to deal with other people anymore. Nobody knows what to say, what to do, how to live with these people. We really don't know. It's such a mixed bag that we're dealing with now. It's almost as if we are learning creation again. We are learning humanity all over again. So, and this has brought and caused a lot of anxiety. But the major talking point today for me was the fact that men change, yes, but the reason they change is because they change along with everything else that is changing. Women change, they grow older, they put on weight, and just all manner of things. The shapes change, all of those things. And I think men respond to those things. Now, of course, I'm not taking away the responsibility that a man has to be able to maintain certain things in the relationship, such as romance, the love. You have to find a way to keep it going. Men have to find a way to keep that going. All right? With the change, and in terms of how we respond to it, maybe, people outside don't have so much of a control over that, or maybe even the man himself doesn't have much control over that, but we can control the fact that we should be able to still love our spouse. We should still be able to respect our spouse, despite the changes that they have gone through. All right? And so at the end of the day, you really realize that a lot of people get into relationships before they truly understand each other. And by understanding each other, I'm talking about understanding the gender. Men get into relationships without understanding what women are all about. Women get into relationships with men without understanding what men are all about, the functionality of a man, so that they know how to deal with the changes when the changes come. Because the change is going to come. All right? Now, the very fact that we don't know how to deal with these changes is what now forces some people, because they're not strong enough to just bear it and just be able to patiently wait for adaptation to the change, or wait for the rewards of just being patiently waiting. So a lot of people now just snap and start to look outside for rewards, or for affirmation, or for love, or for some kind of service, or romance, or whatever it is, or even sex. They start to look outside the relationship. That's where we make a mess. So a lot of people don't know how to stick it out, how to work things out. People don't know that. People, when problems come and challenges come, many people just rather take flight. And that's really what the problem is. So the problem is not the change per se. The change is how we respond to that change. The problem is what we do when those changes come. All right? Now, I can understand also that some men resort to extramarital relationships or cheating, whatever it is, because of the pressure that comes from women when they're demanding an explanation for the change that they are going through. Because again, like I just said, women don't understand why men change or what the change is all about. Because we entered into this relationship without understanding who a man is. And men entered the relationship without understanding who a woman is. And that's why personally I actually advocate that when people are going to go into relationships, they need to be put through a schooling system to understand what the opposite sex is all about. There's a need for that. I've always said for years that I find it really disheartening that we go to school for an average of maybe between 12 to 20 years, to get an education, to learn how to fix computers or make computers or fix cars or just work generally. And so we spend all of that time to learn how to do things that don't matter in life. And by don't matter, I don't mean that we don't need them. But I'm speaking in comparison with human life. Those things don't matter when you compare to human life. Human life and relationships, people, is more important than anything else. So I've always argued that I don't understand why we don't send people to go into school to learn about something that they spend all of their life in. Do you understand? Because a human being spends all of his life in a marriage. At least that's the design of life. It is expected that a human being is going to be in a relationship forever. He's born in a marriage and dies in a marriage. And what I mean by that is, when a person is born, it is expected under normal circumstances, unless there's a disturbance somewhere, under normal circumstances, is born in a marriage between a man and a woman. And then when he leaves his parents, he goes on to cleave to his wife or the husband and builds a marriage. So if anything, marriage occupies all of our lives. We are born in a marriage and we die in a marriage. At least that's what is expected. That's how nature has designed for us to live. So I don't understand why we spend so much time and so much money and resources learning things that are not as important as human beings. And we don't go to school at all to learn how to manage relationships. And I really would love to see something like that. I really would love to see initiatives like that. Because even in church or any other places of association, people spend little time learning about relationships. I've always claimed, and I still make this claim, that when people are about to get married, they're engaged or they're dating, and then we start to counsel them, whether it's in church or outside of it or whatever other setup of counseling that we're involved in. When we start to counsel them 6 months before the marriage or 1 year or 2 years before, it's a little bit too late. I call that a crash course. There's not much they will understand because they're already excited about each other. They're not even hearing anything. They just can't wait for certain things to start to happen between them, for them to be in bed together, and they think that's just what it's going to be forever. They're not even budgeting for change. They're not even thinking about death. And that's why a lot of people don't even write a will. People don't even prepare for death at all. Because once those feelings start flying, that's all they're thinking about. And they think that those feelings are going to be the same for the next 100 years. And that's not the case. Change is coming. Change is coming. Now, I want to be brief. So the other thing that I want to share is this. One of the things that, if we were to do schooling for relationships, one of the things that men desperately need to learn is that women, I know a lot of people would rather say that women are complex. I don't think they're complex. I just think that women are deep. Women are deep. And this is something that men need to learn in school or some kind of learning environment. If anything, the best learning environment for people, for anybody, is the family. A father and a mother are supposed to sit and teach their children these things, grill them in these things. If that child is a boy, they're supposed to grill him. When he is young, he's a teenager, he's 12 years old, that's the best time to teach him about the other gender. To make him understand how women think, how women operate, why they're called the weaker vessel, and things like that. That's the best time to make him understand that. But a lot of fathers in homes, they're not teachers. They can't teach. And the reason they don't teach is because they don't have the understanding either. And that's why we have a lot of relationship complications. So one of those things that we need to learn in these schools, if we were to have them, if I had the money, trust me, I would build universities for relationships and marriages, especially for the men. But a lot of men don't understand that a woman, and I just said, a woman isn't complicated. She's just deep. A lot of men don't understand that a woman has 3 wombs. In fact, even some women don't even know that. And I'm sure there's some of you women, I just saw you. I just saw you go at the TV. What? I saw you. A lot of women don't know. And even women themselves, there are a lot of women who don't know this. But a woman has 3 wombs. Okay? A woman doesn't only have a womb in the body. She also has a womb in the soul. And she also has a womb in her spirit. Remember, a human being is triune. Okay? That means he's 3 things in one. A human being is a spirit who has a soul or emotions and lives in a body. And so the very fact that the physical womb is not even as powerful as the womb in the spirit. So a lot of men are fascinated by the physicalities of a woman. And they are keen to impregnate a woman in the physical, but don't know how to impregnate a woman in the soul or in the emotions and impregnate her in the spirit. They don't know. So these are deep things to talk about. But, when I look and talk to couples and people in relationships and all that, hear the complexities and the problems that they're having, those are things I'm able to pick out. But they are very difficult to address because some people have never even heard about these things. Never heard about them. The other thing is talk about purpose. What is the purpose of marriage? Or what is the purpose of a relationship? There's so many people I've spoken to where when you ask them what the purpose of marriage, they have no idea. No idea. Most people just think marriage is just something that we use to come together, comfort each other, keep each other warm, have sex, companionship, get affirmation, and receive love and cuddles. That's what people think it is. But marriage or relationship is way beyond that. It's much, 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 much deeper than that. But anyway, we'll talk more about these things. For this particular segment, I really just wanted to bring to our attention the fact that we've got problems now with relationships. Relationships have become a complex thing, and it shouldn't be that. It shouldn't be the case. We need a lot more love coaches or marriage coaches, relationship coaches, who can give a lot of this understanding and just coach people to be able to do the right thing. It's unfortunate that there's too many breakups happening, be it whether it's just casual dating or just relationships or marriage. Marriage itself is just asunder. It's crazy what's going on in marriages these days. But because these little things are not understood, there's a serious lack of understanding of these little things. So my major objective today was to talk about the change that happens in a man. And obviously in future, we can add a little bit more about what causes this change and how do men respond to this change. Some men go into, not really shock, but some men go into a frozen mindset, if you like. The men's mind just freeze when they encounter some of the changes that they see. There's things that for men become such a big surprise when they see it. You know, where you experience something with a woman that you never imagined in your life, and it just causes your brain to freeze. Where you don't know what to do, what to say. And for most men, like I said, in situations like that, they just escape. They just become non-existent. So, but we need to be able to create scenarios that can equip men to be able to deal with these difficulties and challenges. Taking on a woman is not an easy task. If you're going to take on a woman, you really have to be brave. You have to be brave. Because our friends, like I said, they're not complicated. They're just deep. Our friends are deep. They are very, 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 very deep. There's a lot of things that I can share with you now, but I want to just keep it short for now. But like I said, we'll keep building up on these things. But let's understand those 3 wombs that a woman has. Just do some research on those things. Some of those things, anyway, it's difficult to do research because they're really spiritually understood. Okay? But that's what I wanted to drop to us, just that piece of knowledge to chew on. We'll come back and talk some more. Send me your comments and let's keep talking. The purpose here is to build ourselves, is to correct ourselves, correct our lives, find solutions for the challenges that we are going through. You know, when relationships break, so many things suffer. Members of the 2 different families suffer, kids suffer, they're traumatized. They may end up even not being able to settle in relationships because of the trauma that they carry, the pain that they carry. These things have long-term effects on not just the present generation, but succeeding generations. Tell me what you think. There's a lot more I could have said, like I said, but for now, I'll call it a wrap, and I'll come back and keep talking and talking and talking until we can help people out there and help ourselves as well, because it's a learning moment for all of us. I care about you, and I'll see you on the next one. For now, let's go catch the day. Bye-bye.